What's going on, you guys? My name is Hartley, and in this video we're going to talk about a trailing stop loss. We're going to talk about what it is, how you can use it, and I'm going to show you a live recording from my trading this morning where I actually implemented trailing stop loss and we exit the trade using that trailing stop loss. So stay tuned. I'm going to give you the entire recording. Here we go. Okay, so for those of you unfamiliar with what a stop loss is, I'll explain that right now. A stop loss is an additional order that's designed to limit your downside risk. So for instance, if you buy Apple stock for $100 and you buy one share, you can place an additional order to sell your one share at $90. That would be considered a stop loss, and what happens is if the price of Apple falls below $90 or exactly at $90, it will execute your trade and you will get out of that position. The advantage there is that if the price continues to fall to 85, 80, 75, 70, you will have already exited that trade and you have limited your downside risk. That's what a stop loss is. A trailing stop loss is similar, but instead of setting that $90 value where you want to exit that trade, you will set a dollar amount or a percentage amount that if the stock drops by that amount, you will exit the trade. So let's say, for instance sake, that you set a $5 trailing stop loss and you buy in at $100. So if you're at $100 and you place an order for a $5 trailing stop loss, if the stock falls to $95, it will get you out of that trade. But if the stock rises to $105, your trailing stop loss will then move up to $100. If the stock rises to $110, your trailing stop loss will then move up to $105. If the stock goes to $150, best case scenario, your stop loss will then move up to $145. And as soon as the price drops below that $5 difference from the high, that is when your trade will execute. So the advantage of a trailing stop loss is that if your stock begins to go up, your stop loss will follow it. The downside of the trailing stop loss is that if you set that little limit, that spread too close, you could see a little dip in the stock and it will exit your position too early before it even gets the chance to run. Now, those are the advantages and disadvantages. I'm going to show you what happened to me this morning when I implemented my trailing stop loss. So if you get any value out of this video, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button. I sincerely appreciate it. My only goal is to help you make more money. Here we go. All right, you guys, so we are in our third trade of the day right now. As you can see, I am in Apple call options here on the left, Apple stock on the right. My Apple call options I got in at $3.5 at $10.53. It's currently trading at $3.65 at $11.14. So I've been in it for about 20 minutes right now. This is what the stock looks like on the right. As you can see, we've got a clear upward trajectory, and we basically broke through this double top here that was established. First here, came down to 131. We made a nice little trade here. It established a second top here, creating a double top, and then it consolidated for about half an hour. It finally broke up, and now we are riding the uptrend up. It's currently at $3.7, so we're up $15 now. We're doing really good on it. I have a stop loss set at 3.4 and a take profit set at 3.8. I'm actually going to move this up just a little bit so we can give ourselves a little bit more room, and I'm going to set my stop loss exactly at my order entry. So now the maximum downside on this trade we are going to lose is $5. We're going to pay $10 in commission on it, so a total of $5. We're currently up $20, and if this runs any higher here and I see continued momentum, I'm actually going to turn this into a trailing stop loss, which is exactly what I'm going to do right now. So I will even show you how to do a trailing stop loss. So I'm going to cancel both my orders here. Now hopefully it doesn't drop like crazy. I'm going to go to my order limit here. I'm going to click trailing stop, and I want this to trail it by 20 cents. So that's what I'm going to enter right there. I'm going to click on sell. Okay. No problem. I'm going to send this order, and now it has created me a trailing stop loss. It is currently at $3.5, so right at my entry point. So worst case scenario, if this completely turns around right now, we are going to get out at my entry, which is going to cost me about $10 in commission. Otherwise, this trailing stop loss is now going to continue riding this high up. So far it looks like we still have some room. The S&P is continuing to run. We got a little bit of a pullback on the stock right now. I'll zoom in to this and show you. But as of right now, I'm feeling pretty good about this trade. Okay, it's coming back down. It's currently trading at 3.67. We have our stop loss at 3.5, 3.69. So we're doing okay. If we can get to that 3.8, 3.9 level, I'll be really happy. It'll start to lock in some profits, and then if we can let that run a little bit, I might loosen my trailing stop loss just so that we don't get stopped out early. Because I do think this has some momentum to run. Apple is on such a long-term bullish trend that I really like it. I want to be in it, and currently we're up $20, so I'm pretty happy about this trade right now. So we'll let this go. So the stock is totally broken out, but as you can see here, the option hasn't quite reached its high that it was at. There is some fluctuation in how the options perform in comparison to the stock, but overall they are quite similar. So as you can see, my trailing stop loss has now moved up to 3.56. So the worst case scenario at this current time would be a $6 profit minus our commissions. So this is going to continue to move up as the stock moves up. The S&P is currently riding a huge trend. I'm going to bring this into the window just real quick so that you guys can see what the S&P looks like right now. Okay, so this is the chart of the S&P. Hopefully this just came up on my screen recorder. And as you can see, we came down, we basically bottomed out at 350. We sat here for about 15 minutes. And then right as our breakthrough in Apple happened, we saw a rebound in the S&P, which gave us confirmation. And now the S&P is just completely running. It is about to test the highs previously set today, and if we start to see resistance here, this is probably where I'm going to want to sell my Apple options, because it tells me that the stock could turn around. So I'm going to put the S&P back up to my top screen here. And look at this, we got a nice little runner on Apple right now. So my trailing stop loss is now at 3.65. It's doing extremely well. We have locked in profit on this trade no matter what, even after our commissions. So we're doing good. We are at the stage where this is where we say cut the losers quick and let the winners run. That is exactly what we are doing here. We are letting our winner run. We've got a trailing stop loss on it. So the only way we get out of this trade now is if that stock completely reverses and our trailing stop loss is tight enough now that we have completely locked in profit. So I'm super happy with this trade.
A few moments later.
Okay, we're starting to see a little bit of a pullback, nice little small bounce here. We will see what happens. The S&P is starting to pull back right now, 3.65. I am tight on my stop loss. I'm going to change this to 0.15 because I feel a pullback coming right now. So I'm going to tighten this up. I'm going to lock in an extra $5 here. So 3.63, we're doing good here. Apple's got a nice little pullback coming. We're still doing okay, We've locked in $15 of profit right now, so not too bad on this trade. Hopefully this continues to run and we will see what happens here. Okay, so as you can see, my trailing stop has not been hit yet. We're on basically a little dip. The S&P is still dropping. Apple's still holding, so super interesting right here. Options are trading at 3.75. My stop loss is at 3.65, so we were close, but we haven't hit it yet. Small pullback on the S&P. Apple's rebounding. Oh no, S&P still dropping. Apple's still dropping. That's okay. It's a pullback. We got a small little pullback. It's gonna happen. What we don't want is for the S&P to establish a new low. That could signal a trend reversal. As of right now, this is just a pullback. So we're at 3.7. I got my stop loss at 3.65. Couple of candle wicks here on the Apple chart, on the actual stock chart, but we haven't, we're not breaking down too far right now. S&P still dropping. All right, we just got out of our trade. All right, so it just closed out our trade. We were able to lock in some profit though, so not too bad. If you look at our executions, we got in at 3.5 and out at 3.6. So we made 10 bucks on this trade, broke even on a trade that was losing previously. So not too bad. Wow, and if you look at the stock, like thank God we got out because this is just plummeting. So that is why we implement trailing stop losses. That is why we get out of these trades. Wow, that is why we have a stop loss in the first place. Look at this. This is crazy. Thank God we had a trailing stop loss. It just saved our butt. We would have got out way down here, and instead of 3.6, we would have lost another 20 bucks, and we probably would have exited at like 3.4 because this just looks like a nightmare. And let me bring back in the S&P here. Okay, now I just brought in the S&P here, and if you look at this, the S&P is just nosediving right now. It's completely dropped off, so that stop loss just saved our butt because the S&P completely dropped off. I'll get this out of the way. And look at Apple, it's continuing to drop right now. The options are continuing to drop, so we actually locked in some profit on this trade, whereas I'm sure everybody else got squeezed pretty tight on this one. All right, you guys, so just in summary, this is like a couple minutes later, this is what the charts look like. Apple has completely nosedived off a cliff down here, and so have the options. They look pretty much the same. Now, in summary, we got in here at 10.53 at $3.50, and we were able to sell out here at 11.21 at $3.60. So thanks to our trailing stop loss, we were actually able to lock in a profit on this, cover our commissions, whereas without that, we would have just spent half an hour, spent all that time, and now we would have dropped to 3.4, 3.45. We probably would have sold out here for a $5, $10 loss by the time we got filled, and we would have lost another $10 on commission. So that is why you trade with a stop loss. That is why I use a trailing stop loss once I am comfortable with the trade and once we are in the green. And that is why you let the winners run, you cut the losers short, and you need to make sure that you are always day trading with a stop loss. So tough lesson learned. We at least walked away with $10, covers our commission, and now we got to find our next trade.